there's so much pain. And then kind of leaning over the last piece, I see this residential, right? Residential has a supply problem. I don't think that's a secret to anyone. But again, what people fail to realize is a lot of the construction industry is done by not the big boys. And
Right.
I'm hearing from more and more builders that are just refusing to build.
Right.
And that's, you know, that's bad today. But what people don't get is you need to fast forward 6 months for when these units would have come on and
Yes.
realize that inventory won't be there. Right.
Right.
So if we have more and more builders pulling back in late Q3, Q4, that means there's going to be a lot less inventory in the summer, the spring and summer. And I mean, what are we supposed to do? We're going to have high mortgage rates, no supply. People are going to be renting more. Back to your point, it's a vicious loop, right? If all these costs go up, it's got to be passed to somewhere. Rents,
Absolutely.
rents go up again. We just
Absolutely.
stuck in this loop.
Absolutely. Because here's the thing, and I, I work in commercial real estate in the multifamily side, and we had projects that we're ready to go on that the fact that lenders have said, hey, when we got the land under contract and we had a 75 to 80% loan and they told us 5%. But you have to go through zoning and approvals and all of that, which is harder and harder in many different areas. By the time that we got, ready to be able to close, I mean, we have rates that literally we're talking about complaining about, residential mortgages that are 7, try going to commercial development that are in the 9 to 10 to 11% range. And they've also cut you from 75 or 80% LTV a lot of times down to about 55%. And that's for very experienced, well-capitalized developers. And it's because they're looking at your profits and they're saying, okay, even if we give you, 70% LTV, your debt payments aren't going to be covered by empty buildings that are not yet filled because you're still constructing. So you've got a couple of years of really negative cash
Yeah.
flow while you're in the middle of the development process. But then they look at and project what it's going to be like in the future. And they say, insurance and taxes are going up 30, 40, 50% alone. The cost of your construction crew with wage demands is going up, and they just don't see how you can get to rents that cover the additional potential increases of costs, as well as rates that are higher for longer. So they're saying, in order for us to make sure that you have enough to just pay us, we're only giving you 55%. So what does that do to a developer? It takes my blended cost to construct from maybe, let's say 8%, 5% paid to the banks on 80% of my money, and let's say 20% paid to my investors on 20% of the money. It might be a blended rate in the 8% range, depending on how long I'm holding the deal, right? And how much profit I can make. But if I now I pay 10 or 11 on 55% of my money, and I got to pay 20% on 45% of my money, that's now a 15% cost of owning the deal. That may squeeze all the profits. You might be upside down on the project and you
Yeah.
go, there's too much risk of
Yeah.
unknown interest rates and
Just too hard.
costs.
It's just too hard.
It's when I
Just
can
too
go
hard.
put my money in a treasury. And that's what
Yeah.
banks are telling us is your return on this deal is less than if you didn't do the deal. So they're saying there's no risk premium for you as a
Mhm.
builder on this deal. It makes it too risky for us as a lender to lend on. Because if that's your small profit margin and anything goes sideways, 4 or 5% profit can be wiped out very, very quickly with just one factor outside of, your
Yeah.
control as a developer. And so developers are saying, you know what? I'm going to park my money in treasuries for a couple years, and we're
Yeah.
going to wait and see.
I'll just
Once this
wait.
corrects, we'll hold our land and we'll build when things get more attractive. So to your point, that constrains new supply. And there are many markets in the country that really truly are undersupplied for housing. Others are oversupplied. But that means in those areas that are undersupplied, you will still have a lot of rental demand. You'll have less people able to buy a home. More people will have to rent. And that is actually going to drive up rents. And it's going to make, this inflationary problem on the housing side not go away.
Yeah.